First off, I'll start with what blockchain, because if we're going to explain Ethereum or Bitcoin differences, might as well start with the most basic level, in my opinion, and that is, what is blockchain? Blockchain's first invention or first mention was when the Bitcoin white paper was invented. So there is no blockchain before Bitcoin. When Bitcoin came about, part of the innovation of Bitcoin was the creation of blockchains. And blockchains are just a new way of storing data.
Okay.
And the way that this data is stored is literally, it's a chain of blocks. So think of this water bottle as a block.
Okay.
I fill it up with transactions or data. And then once it's filled, I move to the next block. A new block comes in. I fill it up with transactions and data. Once it's filled, we go to the next one. So it's quite literally a chain of blocks. Each block has a bunch of transactions. And what are these transactions? This is Talal sending Adam 1 Bitcoin, for example. That will be placed in one of the blocks on the Bitcoin blockchain.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess one of the most important things is that this blockchain, or the records of transactions, they're not in a central entity. They're distributed across everyone in the network. So you can't just change a number. So I guess today, if you have an account at JP Morgan, or if you have an account at a specific bank, and that bank is basically saying Adam has X. So there's a central entity that's providing you with how much balance you have.
Mm-hmm.
With crypto, it doesn't work like that. Your balance is viewable and accessible to everyone, which is why you can't tamper with it. Because if someone tries to say, hey, Adam doesn't have $10, Adam only has 0, everyone else is going to say, hey, no, Adam has 10, he doesn't have 0. Whereas in a bank, they're the final source of truth. As for Bitcoin and Ethereum, I think
just going back to that's like a huge benefit in what you were saying previously about those like countries like Lebanon, where the banking system folds and like there's no like judge or jury in that situation. The bank just says, hey, this is what you can do, and you don't have any recourse, which really hasn't happened in the US, I don't think, ever, from my knowledge. But like the corruption in banking, or just like what's the right word, failure in banking, or like that's much more common in third world countries.
Look, the US technically, if in 1971 they did not remove the peg of the US dollar to gold, they would have went bankrupt.
Mm-hmm.
But the US has the luxury that everyone else demands US dollars, so they can print more dollars, and there's other countries that need them. I don't think that case hasn't happened in the US, because the US has the ability to print more US dollars if they need to.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's important to know before 1971 they would have went bankrupt, because before that every dollar was linked to a deposit of gold. And then I think Nixon in 1971 said, you know what? No, dollars are no longer convertible to gold, and that meant the government could print as many dollars as they want, and there was no checks or balances on how much gold is backing it up.
So they were on air, essentially. It's whatever we can consider that to be worth.
Exactly.
Yeah, which isn't a whole lot different than crypto, honestly. Like it's in the sense
there's quite a big difference. Yeah, look, okay, from that perspective, I agree with you. However, the difference is in Bitcoin, the supply is programmed, which means that I can tell you how many Bitcoins there are in circulation today, in the year 2040, or in the year 2100.
Yeah.
I can tell you with exact absolute certainty, and that's not possible with any other asset in the world.
Mm-hmm.
For me, Bitcoin is like a digital alternative to gold.
Yeah.
If you think of families in India or the Middle East, why do old women store gold at home? Because if the bank gets upset, or if the government you still have your gold, which is your own self-sovereign savings,
and it's relatively stable.
Exactly. So they can't hyperinflate it, etc. So Bitcoin, I think, will serve as a digital replacement for gold. Whereas Ethereum is a lot more exciting, but a lot more risky as well. Ethereum is, the blockchain allows you to do so much more. I think a good analogy is like Bitcoin is like a TXT file where you can only just enter
it's a ledger. It keeps track of
alphanumeric ledger. And then Ethereum is like Google Sheets or Excel on steroids, where you can do all sorts of stuff, which I think will have a huge impact on the world. But yeah, let's see. I'm excited for both Bitcoin and Ethereum, and long both these coins. If you ask me about other stuff, I wouldn't be as excited.
But with Jibral Network, that's what you were using, like Ethereum to build software?
Yeah.
So what type of stuff were you doing? Because I've heard like in the legal system with contracts, like especially like public buildings and like in big metropolitan areas, like contracts get to be a complete mess. So like people have implemented blockchain technology to see like how these properties are moving back and forth. Like what type of stuff were you guys doing?
Yeah, I mean, we built more crypto native stuff. So using blockchain and crypto, you can do it within the confines of the traditional economy, or you could build what's known as decentralized applications, where people can just interact with your application without logging in, without disclosing any information. So they're called dApps, or decentralized applications, and they're permissionless, meaning you can interact with them without asking anyone. In Google, you create a username, password. If they decide, or like Facebook, if they decide to ban you, they can. Mm-hmm. With those decentralized applications, it's an autonomous thing where no one controls it.
And what's the benefit? Like, who's the
but what did we build? What stuff did we build at Jibril? So one of the latest products we built is like a yield product, where you can essentially deposit some of your crypto, and then that crypto is deposited into money markets to generate yields or returns.
Okay.
It's a product called tranche finance, and basically people can deposit different types of crypto to earn interest on them.
All right. Interesting.
So that's one product we built. We built another product that was like a blockchain explorer, which means that you use Google to search the internet. Similarly, you could use that blockchain explorer product to search for information on the blockchain.
Okay.
But it wasn't the user-facing stuff. It was more of infrastructure.
So it's application specific for this technology.
Yep.
Interesting. And then Coin Mana, that's what you're working on now. Like what is that?
Yeah, so Coin Mana is it's exciting as hell, but it's hectic as well, because it's a B2C exchange like Coinbase. I don't know if you're familiar with Coinbase in the US, but essentially you can deposit local currency and buy or sell crypto. So it's a crypto exchange. But we operate in the GCC, like Saudi, UAE, Kuwait, Oman, Bahrain, which is a very unique area when it comes to crypto, because you have very high disposable income and very shitty banking services. So, crypto is destined to succeed in that region, in my opinion.
Yeah. And what are you guys doing, like, for what is the company? Like, is it, or why?
It's a crypto exchange. You can, okay, so why, the ultimate goal of Coin Mina is to provide the region with better financial services. We think that crypto is a better way of providing financial services, whether it's payments, loans, all financial services, or the future of financial services will be built on crypto rails.
Okay.
Whether it's remittances, etc. So we're starting off with what the market wants today, which is crypto exchange, like buy Bitcoin, sell Ethereum. But slowly but surely, we'll start adding more financial products. So we're like issuing a card where you can start spending your crypto. That's the type of stuff we're working.
And what is that? Can you just like a debit card?
Yeah, it's debit card to spend your crypto. So people always say, like, how can I spend my Bitcoin? Like, yeah, if you have the Coin Mina app, you can link it to your card and you can start spending it.
Okay. And why is that necessary when Coinbase already exists? Is it not available?
Coinbase isn't regulated in the Middle East, so they don't operate. Like, if you're a resident of Dubai, you can't sign up on Coinbase.
Gotcha.
Because UK, Europe, Coinbase is licensed, but Middle East not yet.
Why? So why is Coin Mana the exception of that?
We're not. There's a couple of others that are regulated, but the process is a pain. There's, I think, 200 applications. Only 3 exchanges got licensed.
Shit.
So we've been banging our head at it for a while.
So this is like basically like legalized cannabis, where it's like starting out where people only a couple people have the licenses.
Yeah, and slowly but surely, as the regulator becomes more capable and whatnot, they'll issue more licenses. Yeah, I think that's a comparison.
Yeah. All right. Well, dude, all of that's insane and crazy. Like I'm not surprised, having met you in college, that you went on this entrepreneurial path. And like, I've had a couple people, business oriented people, come on talking about crypto, and I think this was super helpful. I wanted to get your feedback for like advice for anybody listening or watching. Did you freeze on me? You still there? So for anybody listening, like, I just had some general information stuff about crypto I wanted to ask you. Like, how, in your opinion or recommendation, roughly, like, I'm not asking you like tell people what to do, but like, how should the average retail investor or just like average consumer be thinking about using crypto or like getting into it at the time?
Yeah. So first of all, you shouldn't think of it as a get rich quick scheme, because it's not going to work that way. Anything that is too good to be true is probably not true. So if someone tells you, "Oh, this is going to triple in the coming week," like, no, bullshit, it's not. And maybe you get it right once, but realistically, that's not sustainable. Another way that I see it, it's a great way to save long term. So I told you, I myself buy some Bitcoin with a small amount every Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Or like used to do it. Yeah, you could choose any time frame, and the way that I think of it is when we were at Purdue, no one in the world used Bitcoin for anything.
Mm-hmm.
In 2017, maybe 1% of the world did. 2020, 2%. Now in 2022, we're about 4 or 5% of the world. So if you were going to make a bet in the coming 20 years, are people going to use crypto more or less? I think the answer would be extremely clear, that as newer generations start controlling more money, because who controls money today? It's people between the age of 50 and 70.
Yeah.
Literally, it's actually males between the age of 50 and 70. And they don't like crypto. But as that money starts flowing to younger generations, like, the way that I think of it is similar to when I used to work for the Prince. When his dad had money, or when his dad was managing it, they had allocation to gold. But when he started managing the investments, like, gold, why would I be owning gold when I could buy Bitcoin?
Yeah.
That's a mentality shift that we'll see when there's generational wealth transfer. And I think the best way to do it is just allocate a small amount for investment. It depends if you invest in stocks or not. If you save, it's very different. Very hard to give very general advice on investing. But in my opinion, not having crypto is it's careless. It's not okay. You don't want to you don't want your grandkids telling you, you were actually there when they created money for the internet and you said, no, I want to continue with the shitty old money that we had.
Hey, if you like that video, make sure to hit the subscribe button below and follow our page for new weekly content. I hope you're fucking happy with this, dude. I hate doing this shit.